There is a war happening right now in the automotive world, and most people are watching the wrong battlefield. Everyone is watching Tesla. Everyone is watching Elon Musk. Every tweet, every earnings call, every product reveal gets dissected, celebrated, and debated across every platform on Earth. And while that circus keeps the crowd entertained, something far more significant is unfolding in the background. Toyota, the company that has been called too conservative, too slow, and out of touch with the future, is methodically, systematically, and almost silently rewriting the rules of the mobility game. And the most fascinating part? The weapon they're using isn't a revolutionary electric vehicle. It isn't a robot. It isn't even a billion-dollar gigafactory. It's a hybrid engine. But not the hybrid engine you think you know. Let's talk about what most automotive coverage gets completely wrong, and why the details they overlook are exactly where the real story lives. The myth of the old hybrid. When most people hear hybrid, they picture the original Toyota Prius from 1997. Sluggish, ugly, the car that environmentally conscious professors drove while wearing fleece vests. That image is outdated by about 2 decades, and yet it still dominates public perception. Here's what the automotive press rarely explains in detail. Toyota's 5th-generation hybrid system, which now powers vehicles like the Yaris Cross, Corolla Cross, RAV4 Highlander, and the Crown, is fundamentally a different technology from what came before it, and the gap between what it was and what it now is happens to be enormous. The new system uses a split-power device planetary gear set that eliminates the need for a traditional transmission entirely. There are no gears shifting, no torque converter, no hydraulic fluid losing energy as heat. Power flows directly from engine to wheels with a level of mechanical efficiency that most traditional automatic transmissions cannot touch. The electric motors in Toyota's latest hybrid systems operate at voltages significantly higher than previous generations, with power electronics running at up to 600 volts in some configurations. Higher voltage means lower current for the same power output, which means thinner wiring, less heat loss, and better efficiency at the component level. This is the kind of detail engineers care about deeply, and marketing departments never mention. The regenerative braking system has been recalibrated too, in urban driving cycles, stop-and-go traffic. The kind that kills fuel economy in conventional cars, the new Toyota hybrid recovers kinetic energy with a finesse that actually improves with driving experience. The more you understand how the system works, the better you get at maximizing it. Some hypermilers in Japan have documented real-world fuel economy numbers that exceed even Toyota's official laboratory figures. But here's the detail that almost nobody talks about: thermal management of the battery pack. Toyota's nickel-metal hydride and lithium-ion hybrid battery packs are intentionally kept within a narrow state-of-charge window, typically between 40% and 60% capacity. This is not a limitation, it is engineering wisdom. Lithium-ion batteries degrade fastest at the extremes near full charge and near complete discharge by keeping the battery in the sweet spot. Toyota extends pack lifespan dramatically. Independent studies have found Toyota hybrid batteries lasting well beyond 200,000 miles with minimal degradation. Taxi fleets in New York, London, and Bangkok have corroborated this in the real world. Compare that to what happens with large-format EV batteries being regularly charged to 100% and discharged to near zero. The chemistry tells a very different story. Range anxiety is real, and Toyota solved it without anyone noticing. Let's be brutally honest about something the EV industry has been reluctant to admit. Range anxiety is not a marketing invention. It is a real psychological and practical burden that affects purchasing decisions, travel planning, and daily stress levels for millions of EV owners. A 2024 consumer survey conducted across 12 countries found that 61% of non-EV owners cited charging infrastructure concerns as their primary barrier to purchasing an electric vehicle. Not price, not styling, infrastructure. This is the gap Toyota drove through without blowing a single horn. A Toyota hybrid driver in rural Indonesia, central India, northern Canada, or sub-Saharan Africa does not need to plan their route around charging stations. They do not need to arrive somewhere early to secure a charger. They do not need to sit and wait 30 minutes at a fast charger before continuing their journey. They fill up at the same petrol station they have used for years, and they drive. But here's the deeper insight that gets overlooked. It's not just about refueling convenience. It's about the cognitive load of ownership. Every time an EV driver takes a long trip, there is a mental calculation happening: range versus distance versus charger locations versus charger availability versus weather conditions. Because cold weather shrinks battery range by 20–40% in many EV models, that cognitive burden is invisible in a press review but very real in daily life. Toyota removed that burden entirely. And in doing so, they made their vehicles more accessible to a much larger portion of humanity. The numbers that don't lie. Let's get specific. Because the global sales picture is something that rarely gets adequate attention in tech-focused automotive media. In 2023, Toyota Group sold approximately 11.2 million vehicles globally, reclaiming the top position in worldwide automotive sales. Their hybrid and electrified vehicle sales alone exceeded 3.4 million units, a 32% increase year-over-year for context. That means Toyota sold more electrified vehicles in 2023 than Tesla sold total vehicles. In Japan, hybrids now account for over 40% of new car registrations in Thailand. Toyota's hybrid models have become the dominant choice in the mid-size SUV segment. In Australia, the RAV4 Hybrid has been the best-selling SUV for multiple consecutive months. In the United States, the Toyota Camry Hybrid and RAV4 Hybrid regularly outpace many EV models in monthly sales. Meanwhile, Tesla sold approximately 1.81 million vehicles in 2023. Impressive, absolutely. Revolutionary, undeniably, but representing a fraction of Toyota's global footprint. What does this mean in practical terms? It means Toyota's technology is not reaching early adopters in wealthy urban neighborhoods. It is reaching farmers, teachers, taxi drivers, small business owners, and middle-class families across 6 continents. That is a different kind of impact, quieter, less photogenic, but arguably more transformative. What Toyota is actually building toward the master plan most people miss. Here is where the story becomes genuinely fascinating, and where mainstream automotive coverage consistently fails its audience. Toyota is not fighting Tesla. Toyota is building a parallel universe of mobility solutions, and hybrids are only the foundation layer. Solid-state batteries represent Toyota's most significant long-term bet. The company holds more solid-state battery patents than any other automaker on Earth by a significant margin. Solid-state batteries replace the liquid electrolyte in conventional lithium-ion cells with a solid material, which eliminates the primary mechanism of degradation and thermal runaway that makes current EV batteries problematic. The theoretical advantages are substantial. Charging times potentially under 10 minutes for an 80% charge. Energy density improvements of 50–100% over current lithium-ion. Operating temperatures that remain stable in both extreme cold and extreme heat, and a lifespan that could outlast the vehicle itself. Toyota has publicly committed to beginning production of solid-state battery vehicles by 2027–2028. Independent analysts have noted that Toyota's manufacturing expertise, particularly their mastery of precision assembly and quality control, developed through decades of Toyota production. System refinement gives them a credible pathway to solving the manufacturing challenges that have kept solid-state batteries in laboratory settings for years. Then there is hydrogen. Most coverage of hydrogen fuel cell technology dismisses it as impractical, uneconomical, or simply irrelevant in a world going electric. This perspective misses several critical applications where hydrogen makes more sense than batteries. Heavy-duty transport, long-haul trucks, buses, maritime vessels, rail involves energy demands that current battery technology struggles to meet efficiently. A hydrogen fuel cell truck can be refueled in minutes and travel 500+ miles between fills, with only water vapor as an exhaust byproduct. Toyota's hydrogen fuel cell technology, developed through the Mirai passenger vehicle and now being scaled into commercial vehicles, is already being trialed in port operations, logistics fleets, and public transit systems across Japan, California, Germany, and South Korea. The infrastructure challenge is real. But Toyota is not waiting for governments to build it alone. They are actively partnering with energy companies, logistics operators, and municipal governments to develop hydrogen production and distribution networks. They are laying the pipes before the water arrives. This is patient, long-horizon thinking. It is the kind of strategy that rarely generates viral content but consistently produces competitive advantages that compound over decades. The details inside the engine bay that reveal everything. Let me take you inside the engineering of Toyota's latest hybrid powertrain in a way that most reviews never bother to. The 2.5-liter dynamic force engine that powers many current Toyota hybrids achieves a thermal efficiency of approximately 41%, a figure that was considered the theoretical ceiling of gasoline engine efficiency just 15 years ago. For reference, a conventional non-hybrid gasoline engine typically achieves thermal efficiency in the range of 25–35%. Toyota's engine extracts more energy from each drop of fuel before that energy is lost as heat. This is achieved through several specific engineering decisions: an Atkinson cycle combustion process that allows the intake valve to close later than normal, reducing effective compression and improving efficiency; a cooled exhaust gas recirculation system that lowers combustion temperatures and allows for a higher compression ratio without knocking; and laser-clad valve seats that improve durability while enabling tighter manufacturing tolerances. The water-cooled exhaust manifold integrated directly into the cylinder head reduces warm-up time and allows the heating system to deliver cabin warmth faster, something that matters enormously in cold climates where EV battery performance degrades noticeably. The electric motors in the system use a rotor with reduced rare earth magnet content compared to earlier generations. This was a deliberate choice that addresses supply chain vulnerability. Rare earth materials are concentrated in a small number of producing countries, and Toyota engineers recognized years ago that dependence on constrained material supplies represented a long-term risk. By reducing magnet content through improved electromagnetic design, Toyota creates a powertrain that is not only more efficient but more resilient to geopolitical supply disruptions. These are the kinds of engineering decisions that never make the headline but define the product's real-world durability and cost of ownership over a decade of use. The consumer psychology no one is talking about. There is a profound gap between what people say they want and what they actually buy. Market research on EVs has consistently shown high interest and purchase intent, and then real-world sales have consistently underperformed those projections, particularly outside premium urban markets. Why? Because aspiration and practicality live in different neighborhoods of the human mind. When someone imagines owning a Tesla, they imagine the acceleration, the large touchscreen, the status, the environmental feeling, the technology. All of that is real and it is genuinely compelling. But when that same person sits down to make the actual purchase decision, the other part of their brain activates. Where will I charge this? What happens when I take it home for the holidays? Can my apartment building accommodate a charger? What does insurance cost? What happens to resale value in 5 years? Toyota's hybrid addresses that second conversation completely. It asks nothing new of its owner. No behavioral change required. No infrastructure dependency. No new habits, just better fuel economy and a smoother, quieter driving experience than they had before. This friction-free ownership proposition is worth more than any specification sheet can capture, and it is the single largest reason why hybrid sales continue to accelerate even as EV adoption stalls in multiple major markets. If this kind of deep-dive content connects with the way you think about cars and technology, consider subscribing and leaving a comment below. Your perspective shapes what gets covered here. The most interesting conversations in this space happen in the comments. And every week there are questions and observations there that genuinely change how the next script gets written. Where does Tesla actually stand? To be completely fair, and this analysis demands fairness, Tesla has built something genuinely remarkable. Their battery technology, particularly the 4680 cell format now being scaled, represents meaningful progress in energy density and manufacturing cost reduction. Their software ecosystem, over-the-air update capability, and supercharger network are competitive advantages that cannot be dismissed. Tesla's autopilot and full self-driving systems, regardless of the ongoing debate about their current capabilities, have established Tesla as the benchmark for driver assistance technology integration. No other automaker has yet produced a comparable software-hardware integration in a mass-market vehicle. And crucially, Tesla's supercharger network is becoming an industry standard. The decision by Ford, GM, Rivian, and other manufacturers to adopt the North American Charging Standard connector originally developed by Tesla represents a significant validation of their charging infrastructure investment. But here is the thing about standards and networks. They benefit everyone, including Toyota. As charging infrastructure expands, partly driven by Tesla's investment, the case for all-electric vehicles strengthens. Toyota understands this. Their multi-pathway strategy is not anti-EV, it is pro-consumer. They are not betting against electric vehicles. They are betting that the transition will take longer than the most optimistic projections suggest, and that customers will need bridges to cross during that transition. The evidence increasingly supports Toyota's bet. The decade ahead, what the evidence actually suggests. The International Energy Agency's 2024 Global EV Outlook projects that by 2035, electric vehicles will account for approximately 45% of new car sales globally under optimistic policy scenarios. That is a significant number. It also means that in 2035, 55% of new vehicles sold globally will still be powered by something other than a pure battery electric drivetrain. That 55% is Toyota's territory right now. And Toyota intends to keep it. Their product roadmap through 2030 includes hybrid variants of virtually every vehicle in their lineup, a new generation of plug-in hybrids with substantially longer electric range than current models. The introduction of solid-state battery vehicles in premium segments, expansion of hydrogen fuel cell technology into commercial vehicle categories, and continued investment in battery chemistry research aimed at reducing cost and improving energy density. This is not a company hedging its bets out of timidity. This is a company deploying capital across multiple vectors because they understand that global mobility needs are heterogeneous. They vary by income level, geography, infrastructure availability, cultural preference, and regulatory environment in ways that no single technology can satisfy simultaneously. The verdict and the question worth sitting with. The automotive industry has a long history of crowning winners too early. In the 1990s, everyone was certain that sport utility vehicles would be replaced by minivans within a decade. In the early 2000s, fuel cell vehicles were 6 years away from mass adoption. They stayed 6 years away for 20 years. In 2020, many analysts predicted that EV adoption would make hybrid technology irrelevant by 2025. None of these predictions came to pass on schedule. What tends to actually happen is messier, more interesting, and more instructive than any clean narrative suggests. Technologies overlap. Consumer preferences prove stubbornly resistant to expert projections. Infrastructure build-out follows economic incentives that don't always align with environmental urgency. Policy changes at speeds that don't match corporate investment cycles in this messy reality. Toyota's approach, build the best possible bridge between where consumers are today and where they need to go tomorrow, looks less like conservatism and more like strategic wisdom. Tesla is building the destination. Toyota is building the road. Both matter, and the most interesting question for the next decade is not which company wins, but which approach serves more people more effectively as the transition unfolds. Drop your take in the comments. Do you think Toyota's multi-pathway strategy is the right approach for global mobility, or is it delaying the clean energy transition we urgently need? The answer is more complicated than either camp usually admits, and that's exactly the kind of nuanced conversation this community tends to get right. If you are not already following this channel, now is a good time. The analysis here goes places that most automotive coverage does not, and the next deep dive is going to look at something even fewer people are paying attention to: the supply chain dynamics behind solid-state battery commercialization, and why the company that solves that manufacturing problem first may end up defining the next 20 years of mobility, not just the next 5. Stay curious. The most important developments in this space never make the loudest noise.